Hi, welcome back to New England Fire Cooking. I'm Aaron Higgins, and with St. Patrick's Day right around the corner, I really started getting a hankering for corned beef. Now, I love corned beef and cabbage, but this time I tried to get a little creative with this recipe, and we're gonna knock out what I call the Irish burger. Let's get to work. So what we're gonna start with is a 3-pound corned beef brisket. You don't need to go too crazy. 3 pounds is more than enough for what you're gonna do here. Now what we gotta do is we gotta get this in the seasoning packet right into a crock pot. Once you get your brisket in the crock pot, what you want to do is you want to add your pickling spice packet to the meat. I just pour it right over the top of it and try to spread it out as evenly as I can. And once that's done, what you want to do is you want to add a fair amount of Guinness, right around 24 ounces of Guinness Extra Stout. I always use the Extra Stout. I really want the Guinness flavor to shine through in this. Next, what you want to do is you want to set your crock pot on low and just cover it and let it roll. Okay, you guys, so after several hours, this brisket is done. And you know it's done when the fork goes through like butter and it's fork tender, like that. Okay, when it drops right off, you know you're in good shape. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull this brisket out of this liquid and we're gonna set it on in a pan or on a rack on a pan, something like that, and we're gonna let it hang out in the fridge overnight. This liquid that you see here, do not get rid of that. Keep that, because we're gonna make a really awesome sauce out of that. So today we're cooking on the Weber kettle, and what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be doing what's called a 2-zone fire. It's where you stack all your charcoal on one side of the cooker and you leave the other half empty. So this provides you a way of cooking using indirect heat on something like a Weber kettle. And I'm going to blast this little tumbleweed with a torch. I'm going to let it do its thing. When those coals start to ash over, we'll replace our grates and throw on some wood and we'll be good. So we're going to be cooking this corned beef brisket fat side down. And what I've done here is I've just put on some Famous Dave's Devil Spit, and I'm just gonna dab that on and just kind of cover this. And what I'll do is I'll brush on the rest of the sauce on the top side, on the meat side of this brisket, after I get it on the Weber. So now that our coals are ash over, we're ready to get the grates on and start cooking. What I did right here, and I usually use a tinfoil pan to do this, but I didn't happen to have any of those. So I used some heavy duty tinfoil, and I just kind of made a makeshift pan, I guess you could say. And the reason why you normally do this with a 2-zone fire is to kind of create a couple different things. Like a deflector shield, so the heat stays on the hot side and the cool side stays cool, and also to catch any drippings that's going to come off your meat. So now I'm going to set these grates back on. I'm going to add our wood, and we're going to start cooking this brisket. So now that our brisket's on, we're going to hit it with a little bit more of this Famous Dave's Devil Spit. Should be good enough right there. And just brush this right over the top, or not even really brush it, you just kind of want to dab it and just make sure that it evenly covers your entire brisket. Just about like that. Okay, now we're gonna get this closed. Now, keep in mind, take note of where your fire is. We've already thrown our hickory chunks on there for our smoke. Okay, when you close this, you want to set your exhaust opposite your fire so the smoke gets pulled across your meat and then out. So we'll close this, we'll let this get up to temperature. I usually run it right around 300 or so. You could go a little bit hotter if you wanted to. It really depends on what you want to get out of this brisket. I'd like to have a lot of char flavor on mine. I like some blackened ends and that sort of thing. And this is the perfect way to do this. You might want yours a little less well done, that's fine. Make it your own, cook it however you prefer. In the meantime, what we want to do is we want to reduce this liquid that we've kept in the fridge, the liquid that the brisket cooked in the crock pot. We want to put it in a pot, get it on the stove, and we want to reduce this down by about half. So what we have right here is a pound of ground lamb and a pound of ground Wagyu. At least that's what this claim is. I'm not exactly sure. It says Wagyu beef on the back. So I'm sure there's some semblance of Wagyu in here. Obviously, it's all going to be trimmings and that sort of thing, and probably some of the more undesirable cuts. But I have used this stuff before, and it does have great flavor, and it is very juicy. So that's what we're going to use. 1-to-1 ratio. 1 pound of ground beef, in this case Wagyu, 1 pound ground lamb. We're gonna incorporate them all together, and that's what we're gonna make these burger patties out of. Now, once you get the meat all blended together, what you want to do is you want to make about half-pound balls of meat. And what we're going to do is we're just going to press these out into half-pound burgers. Now, keep in mind, these burgers are going to shrink as you cook them. And what I like to do, it keeps these burgers from pulling in and becoming more round. I like to just take my thumb and put an indent right into the center of each burger, and that will keep them from becoming more rounded, and it'll keep it nice and flat. Now we're ready to get them seasoned. Now, I'm not going too crazy with seasoning on these burgers. I'm just giving them a light sprinkle of some kosher salt, then a little bit of black pepper, and we'll flip them and give them the same treatment on the other side. So once your liquid is reduced down by about half, what you want to do is you want to add a stick of butter to this, and it needs to be cold. It cannot be soft or room temperature. It needs to be cold butter. So I've just diced up a stick of butter into some pads. You just want to mix it in. Once you get your butter all mixed in, you want to give this a taste and see how intense the flavor is. You're going to get a lot of salty, and you're going to get a lot of bitter from the beer. So to offset that, what we're going to do is we're going to add in some brown sugar. Now, this is about 1/4 cup. Get it mixed in, see how you like it, and then if you want a little bit more sweet, you can certainly go from there. But I always start with at least 1/4 cup, depending on how much of this sauce I make. And you just want to stir it until it's totally dissolved. So I'm coming in with some Coleman's English mustard. And I just kind of eyeball this a little bit. And then I come in with some regular stone ground mustard. And I do quite a bit of this. If you want to kick it up a notch, you can certainly add hot sauce. I like to use Rhode Island Red. Now I've got it back on the burner, and I'm just going to give it a little bit more heat until it starts to thicken.
Okay, you guys, so as you can see, this brisket's looking really good. This is exactly what I like to see. Nice blackened edges, really dark, deep red mahogany color. We're going to pull this off, we're going to wrap it up, we're going to rest it for a little bit, and then it's going to be burger making time.
So for cheese on these burgers, we're going to be going with the Kerrygold Dubliner natural cheese. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to run this through a cheese grater, shred it up, and it's just going to melt a little bit easier that way. One last thing you're going to need for this cook are some good crispy onion rings. Okay guys, here we are. We opened up the vents, we let this charcoal get screaming hot, and we got our grill grates for any grill flipped over upside down so we can use it as a flat top. Now it's time to get these burgers on. Okay guys, we're gonna get this closed. We're gonna let them roll. We're gonna flip them over after a few minutes. Then we're gonna cheese them, finish cooking them, and then we're gonna be styling. These burgers are looking pretty good to me. It's time to pull them off, get them upstairs, and assemble and smash. Okay, you guys, I'm not gonna lie. I already cheated, and my wife and I both had a piece of this brisket. I took one corner, she took the other, but now it's time to get down. We gotta slice this up so we can assemble these burgers. And this is just cutting. I slice this pretty thin also, so you can kind of layer it on there, but this is cutting so incredibly nicely. So now that we got our corned beef brisket sliced up, it's time to assemble these burgers. Now I sliced the brisket slices on this corned beef in half, and you're gonna see why I did that in just a sec. So without further ado, we wanna get into this. And this right here is brioche, and I absolutely love brioche hamburger buns. These are the best. So let's get right into it. Here's our burger. I'm gonna take this big bad boy right here. It's got my name on it. Wagyu and lamb 50-50 combo, Kerrygold Dubliner cheese, and then you got your onion ring right there. And here we have our corned beef. I'm gonna layer that right inside here. Make a little meat volcano. Braised in Guinness. We saved the liquid. We reduced it down by half. We added some brown sugar, some stone ground mustard, some English mustard, some hot sauce, and then we let it thicken up a little bit more. And now we have a nice sauce to go over the top of this. And that right there is what I'm calling the Irish burger. And now we gotta get some sauce on this. Don't skimp on the sauce, guys. It doesn't become you. Trust me. Guinness, mustard, brown sugar, English mustard, and hot sauce. This is gonna be a burger for the ages. And that right there is what I call the Irish burger. Okay, you guys, here we go. Just did our run through and assembly, and now I gotta try this. And I can't tell you, oh, this little piece fell out. Can't have that happen. So did this one. Let's restack those. And I'm gonna eat this one right on the board, I don't care. Happy St. Patty's Day, y'all. Oh my God. Wow. That sauce is where it's at. It really ties all this together. It's got the bitterness from the beer. It's got the heat from the mustard and the hot sauce. It's got the sweetness from the brown sugar. And this lamb Wagyu combination. Let me tell you, you haven't seen the end of this one. At least I haven't seen the end of this one. Going right in. That corned beef is awesome. That cheese with the corned beef and the devil's spit barbecue sauce, the smoke, that cheese, the Wagyu, the lamb, all of it, it's just absolutely incredible. I'm telling you, if you don't want to just go with regular old corned beef and cabbage for St. Patrick's Day this year, and you got the time and you got the patience to go through a multi-step process like this right here is where it's at, bar none. Oh man, I'm gonna go back in for more. Oh. Man, I keep getting surprises. You know, corned beef, lamb, cheese, the onion ring, everything about it is absolutely incredible. Guys, I'm telling you, this is probably in my top 5 for burgers. Came up with this idea a little while ago, and quite honestly, this whole thing was an experiment. I wanted to see if it would work, and I'm letting you know right now, it did. The only thing I will say is that I don't have any particular measurements, you know, or a strict recipe for the sauce. I would say just do that based on your own taste when it comes to the sugar, the mustard, the hot sauce. You know, just taste it. Just taste it as you go and creep right up on that and get it exactly how you want it. But man alive, I gotta tell you, this is really, really awesome. And now it's dinner time for me and my family. So I'm gonna leave you guys with that one. But if you like what you see here and you like what we're doing on this channel, give us a subscribe. Check us out on Instagram, check us out on Facebook. Thanks for hanging out with us today. We'll see you next time.